Oh, hi. Long time no chat. I had cancer. That was a doozy. I'm still in treatment. I just have 4 more chemos left. I had my surgery already. And I just started feeling like I have enough energy to work on projects again, which is really cool. So I'm working on a new collection, which is sort of inspired by Greek mythology, ancestors, and ripe fruit, and salty water, and stars. Okay, so usually when I have a new collection, I have a couple different components. Usually there's like a metals component, and then there's a print component, and then sometimes there's a pattern or an outfit or some garment. And almost always there's an album of music that I record in my dining room right over there. And this collection, I was like, you know, I would really love to have a Greek lyre. And I decided, I've never made an instrument before, but I was like, I can probably figure this out. And I watched this really cool video, and I was like, okay, let's do it. So I got a 2x12 piece of pine that was in my garden. We were gonna build a couple extra raised beds, and it didn't happen this summer, and I was like, well, I have this wood, so let's just... So I started with a piece of 2x12 pine, and I went from there. Here is the chunk of pine that I'm starting with. And my first step is I'm gonna make a pattern. Oops, this one looks like Shrek. Shit, this one looks like Shrek. Shit, this one looks like... Okay, this is the least Shreky of all of the patterns that I've made, and it's still got this ancient vibe that I like. And Spainy made one too. His looks like a Tamagotchi. And he's gonna take it outside and cut it because it is 90 degrees outside and 90% humidity, and I have a fainting disorder, and he is gonna do that for me because he loves me. While Spain's outside doing that, I'm gonna figure out the hole spacing. The holes need to be wider at the top and narrower at the bottom. Get. Spain was able to get really close with the saw outside, and he was able to cut way more detail than I thought. So now starts the crazy process of trying to give this a shape with a chisel. Yeah, that shit's not going anywhere. I am not a woodworker. I am a metal worker, and I feel like wood is a very unforgiving material, but I also know woodworkers who feel like metal is a very unforgiving material. So boy, did I whack away at this thing for like 4 or 5 hours with a chisel and a file, thinking that I could take huge chunks of wood off and really change the shape, and that did not actually work. There's nothing like grinding something by hand with a chisel and sandpaper for 6 hours to make you go, damn, I gotta call my friend who knows about wood. So my friend Rick came over and lent me an angle grinder. When I'm working with any material, I like to practice safety. So I've got my goggles, I've got my mask for particulate, I've got my cooling band because it's hot outside, and I'm ready to party. Safety first. I punched some holes for the tuning pegs and for the strings at the bottom. Then I started working on the bridge. The bridge holds the strings up away from the body of the instrument, I think to give them some, I don't know, there's a correct word for this, action, I think. I just split a dowel in half and then sanded it. I did have a moment when I was using the chisel where I turned to Spain and I was like, I think I've done this in a past life. Like, I think I was a chiseler of something, wood or boats or marble or something. I goofed a couple pieces by whacking it too hard, but luckily I have wood glue. I'm using coffee to stain the instrument. Ew. Well, it smells great. My last step is I want to add some brass inlaid stars. Okay, here he is. I think my favorite part about it is the brass inlay stars. And I think if I were to make it again, I would make the length of the instrument much longer, because I feel like the strings aren't able to be tuned very low because of such a short distance. They get kind of like thwonky, and I don't know how to describe it. Almost like the tone doesn't sound bright and clear. So I just tuned it to a totally made up tuning that I don't know what it is. It just sounds nice together, because I based it on, you know, this being the lowest note, which is not even very low at all. The other thing that I would change is, because this is a solid piece of wood, I don't think it has a lot of good resonance. I've noticed that if I play it like flat on a table, it's much louder. So I think if I made it again, I would maybe cut out some big holes to make like a little resonator or something. Pretty damn good for my first instrument. Okay, love you, bye.